What's up, guys? Today I'm just getting the car ready for the track, getting it all prepared to get everything bolted up, have everything packed. Just doing a couple things. I'm going to change out my motor mounts. Mine are getting a little old, and I think they're sagging a little bit. That might be one of the reasons my car is potentially popping out of third gear just intermittently. It's like every now and then, maybe I'm not getting it in all the way. So I bought some new mounts. I'm currently using these exact same mounts. I'm using the Innovatives, but I'm using the 60A durometer. Innovative makes them in different hardness of urethane. There's a 60, there's a 75, there's an 85, which is the gray, and then there's a 95, which is considered their extreme. I'm using 60A right now, and I wanted to see what kind of difference it feels like with a urethane that's a lot harder and maybe there's less engine movement. And I want to see how much vibrations there are in the cabin. Another thing I need to do is with the splitter being built a couple weeks ago, I don't have access to my tow hooks on the Innovative bar any longer. On the on the rear of my car, I've been using one of these Sparco tow straps, and I've always had the second one, I just never mounted it. Remove my bumper. I'm gonna cut out the remaining grill. I think it just looks tacky. It's always been messed up. Can't really repair it. It's missing the top, that little top beam as well. So I'm gonna cut it out. And on the reverse side, there's a couple holes here. This one is the largest. I may use that. I'm gonna use either one of these two. I'm gonna get my jigsaw out. What I'm gonna do is, gosh, I don't know what side I wanna put it on. You know, I'll probably put it on this side just because the hole is larger, so that way the bolt. So I'm gonna get my jigsaw out. I'm gonna cut out a chunk of this metal because I'll need to feed a nut in there. And then if I have a chunk cut out, I can feed in my wrench and then I can tighten it. I'm gonna put it on this side. Thought about one of these, but these are so small. These little M6 by 1.0 millimeter. These are all the 10s on the Hondas, and you know how wimpy those are. I don't feel like that would be appropriate to mount my tow hook. I think this one would be perfect. So jigsaw this open and get that bolted up. So I just used the big hole to start the jigsaw. Just made like a kind of like a eyeball shape, I guess. I couldn't get all the way to this hole because the jigsaw was hitting here, but this is perfect. Just wanted to make sure I had enough room to slide in my wrench and be able to bolt up the tow hook there. And it's not the prettiest, but you're never gonna see it. Works perfectly fine. Now I'm just gonna use a bolt, a washer, some Loctite, and we'll be good to go. I also need to pull out my rear interior again. My wife and I moved a couple months back, and it was easier just to transport everything by installing it back into the car. And I actually had a bunch of stuff in the rear of it when I did move, so I'm just gonna pull all that out really quick. That's done really quick. One day I might remove my side panels. I like them because they help with noise and they really don't weigh much at all. So I leave them in. I should probably get in there and remove the seat belt, so it's not really necessary. And then another project is to remove the sound deadening and repaint all of this in here. I think it'd be nice to get it looking really fresh again. After getting that first mount out, take a look at how much it has sagged. It might not only seem like a little bit there, but look at the reverse side. This is the front of the engine, this is the rear. Look at how off it is now. It's not centered where it should be. And I think it just happens in time on these 60A gyrometers. Now you can buy a set of these for only $20 for the pair of bushings from Innovative and then press them in. So you could essentially upgrade this mount to these instead for, well, $20 per mount, so $60 for the set, which wouldn't be too bad if you already have the mounts. I don't know if Innovative offers some sort of lifetime warranty. Maybe I can just send these in and they can press new ones in, and then I could sell them and someone could use them for a while. Granted, I have tracked this car, so obviously it's been put through a lot of abuse, and these 60As are not recommended for like a race application. So it's kind of neat to see that, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to swap the mounts out. My transmission, I've had issues with it. If you're following my channel, you may have seen where I talked about, this is a B16 LSD transmission. It's an S1. And it's an aftermarket LSD, but it sometimes pops out of gear in third. So I'm thinking maybe with the mounts sagging, I'm going to check the other two right now. Maybe the engine's not positioned where it should be, and so with the shift linkage going into it, maybe that's the reason it pops out. Maybe if I don't shift it all the way like into third gear, and it's always third gear, that it's in the wrong position, so it does pop out. Because it's weird, it would do it just periodically and at the track, coming in and out of certain corners, but it wouldn't happen all the time. I would sometimes have a solid 15-minute session with no issues. Other times I would be out there on my first practice lap, it would pop out of third gear. So we're going to see if maybe that helps once we get to the track as well, and maybe these new mounts will just keep the engine positioned securely. And here's a look at that transmission mount. It's not sagging on the front, the back, a little bit. That might have something to do with the T-bracket in the rear mount. I like how they redesigned this. Like when you're looking at it from the side, let me show you. This one goes up really high, where this one it's more of a gradual incline. And this being really high makes this bolt getting to a little bit more difficult with the wrench. My ratchet was able to fit in there just barely. So I think that'll make it easier to tighten and loosen up from now on with this having a less of a slope right here. It's just it's a lot more gradual from this one being so jagged so quickly. There we go. That's exactly how I do it. And here's a look at the rear mount. You can also see we have some signs of sagging on that particular side. And here's a look at all three of them removed. They've obviously all have a little bit of distortion to them now. Especially the driver's side and the rear mount. The passenger mount survived the best. I took some pictures of these right now. I'm going to send it to Innovative. I'm going to see what they recommend, or if they're going to do some sort of replacement bushing service if I send them in, or do I have to buy new bushings from them. And I'll get that information before I finish this video. I don't want to leave it out, so I can see exactly how we can do to remedy the sagging on these older bushings. And later that night when I finished the bushings, went online and looked up Innovative's replacement plan, and I essentially got these for free. All you need to do is take pictures of your current mount setup, tell them which ones you have, and they will send you a set of replacement bushings. And what's really nice is they can even send you they'll go up one more hardness in the durometer. So I went from the 60A to the 75. They are black in color here. The thing I was wondering, because see how these don't look as nice, like the Innovative isn't pressed in as well? I'm almost thinking that these are like their defective ones that don't look as pretty on the outside. So they keep them and they use them for the replacements for this warranty process. Now that I don't know, but that could be my assumption. And for me, it's not a big deal. Once you have these on, you're never going to see the little stamped area on the bushing, as long as they do their job. And that's all that really matters for me. So this is cool. I got a new set of these. I'm going to press these in one of these times I get a chance, and just probably keep those. I might even repaint them to make them look like a brand new set of mounts. Now being that this is deformed, I want to see if I can get one of these bushings out easily. Oh, this came out super easy. And I think because these are so soft and deformed from just the use, they're easy to push out. I didn't know this before, but Innovative has like a sleeve in there separating these, so when they pressed in, they're not actually pressed in against one another. I think Hassports are actually like that. When they're pressed in against each other. Now the new ones, you know, the new ones obviously they seem bigger in diameter, so I don't think I could just push these in. Maybe if I lubed them up a little bit with some WD-40 or something, I could slide them in, but I think that would call for a job of actually using a press, and that's not something I'm going to mess with right now. I'll get them put in at some other time when I need to. That way I can I thought about maybe getting these powder coated, re-powder coated now, and then having the bushings pressed in so they look all nice and brand new. But we'll save these for another day, guys. Let's move on. And lastly, guys, we're going to try out the new ECU. This is a P28. It has the Hondata S300 board installed. It's a V1. I got this out of a parts car back in September that I bought. It also came with an AEM wideband gauge, so I installed that at the same time. Really easy to actually hook those up since I was already OBD1. And then this, just a few wires, hooking the sensor up in the header itself, and then running the pin to, I think it was D14, I can't remember. But you want to run it into there so you can use it with the Hondata. So this is my first opportunity getting a chance to use something like this. I really had no experience with it before. Get the car turned on real quick. I think it's really neat how you can kind of monitor everything on here. Like, I like the TPS percent, that's kind of neat. I actually had to adjust the TPS percent. Mine was up a little bit, so I went in there, adjusted my throttle plate just so it sits right at 0 every single time now. And what was really cool, I was just doing a little bit of research. I watched a ton of videos online. Like when you select the calibrations, of course you have all of these like different engines. You got some supercharged, whatever. What I thought was really cool is there is a selection down here. Stock B20 with Crowers 403s, which is the 62 403 is what I have. And I think it's neat that it already has a base map in here, so I think it should run perfectly fine. I've driven the car a couple times, feels good, pulls hard. We're gonna try this for the track, guys. I haven't had the opportunity to get out there with the tuner. I would like to soon, and I think I would just be able to take the most advantage of it, but I think this will feel really good with that. So we're gonna give that a shot. And if you guys have any other tips or pointers I could maybe go around here and play with, something that, because I really don't know what I'm doing. I just watched a lot of videos on different stuff for trying to like set up certain things. Like you can set up like shift lights and all kinds of different stuff. It's pretty neat. But there's so much on here that you could take advantage of that I have literally like 0.5% of know what I'm doing on here. Being able to select the calibration was great, and that's pretty much it. And then watched a video from Hunter Tuned about setting up the air fuel ratio gauge to this, and then selecting the correct setting. So I think it's good to go. We're gonna give that a shot, guys. So hopefully it's running perfectly fine. The track, don't have any issues, and we'll see what it's like when it's out there. Thanks for watching, guys. We're gonna get everything set up and get out to the track. Have that video out in a couple days. Take it easy.
Very good, very good.